Imagine you wake up one morning to see your phone buzzing with notifications from news outlets, friends, and social media platforms. Your mind races as you read the headline, "Facebook faces massive scandal, the empire at risk." As you scroll, you realize it's not just about a privacy breach or some small glitch. This is much bigger. Something has happened that's shaking the very foundation of the world's most powerful social media empire. Mark Zuckerberg, the face of Facebook, a name we've all heard of, is suddenly at the center of controversy. How did a platform that started in a college dorm with a simple mission of connecting people spiral into one of the most scrutinized and criticized companies on the planet? Let's take a deeper look into the Facebook scandal, how Mark Zuckerberg's empire came under fire, and why it's been one of the most significant corporate scandals of the digital age. The birth of Facebook, a revolutionary idea. Facebook started as a simple college project in 2004. Mark Zuckerberg, along with his friends Andrew McCollum, Eduardo Savarine, Chris Hughes, and Dustin Moskovitz, created a platform called the Facebook to connect Harvard students. The idea was simple: a digital yearbook where people could post their information, photos, and connect with others. But it didn't stay small for long. The platform quickly expanded beyond Harvard to other Ivy League schools, and then across the entire United States. By 2005, Facebook had become the hottest new social network, attracting millions of users, including high school students, college students, and eventually people from all walks of life. The idea was groundbreaking, and Mark Zuckerberg's vision was even bigger. He didn't just want Facebook to be a place where people could share photos and updates. He wanted to build a platform that would reshape how we communicate, how we interact with each other, and how businesses could advertise to us. The revenue model was simple but brilliant: ads. Facebook could gather vast amounts of data on users and use it to serve personalized ads. By 2012, Facebook was the dominant social media platform with over 1 billion active users. It had evolved from a college project to one of the most valuable companies in the world. Zuckerberg had gone from a college dropout to the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar empire. However, with great power came even greater responsibility, and it wasn't long before Facebook would face intense scrutiny. The seeds of controversy: data privacy issues. The first real signs that things weren't perfect came when questions about privacy and data security began to arise. People started to realize how much personal information Facebook was collecting: your likes, posts, location data, friend networks, and more. But many didn't realize the full extent of how that information was being used. In 2013, Facebook began facing growing concerns over how it handled user data. While the company had always insisted that user privacy was a top priority, more and more stories came out about data being sold or shared with third parties, often without explicit user consent. Facebook's privacy policies were complicated, buried in legal jargon, and frequently changed, which left many users confused about what data was being shared and how it was being used. Still, the real turning point came in 2018. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, a digital nightmare. It was March 2018 when Facebook was hit with one of its biggest scandals yet: the Cambridge Analytica controversy. The scandal revealed that a political consulting firm, Cambridge Analytica, had harvested the personal data of millions of Facebook users without their consent. Here's how it happened. In 2013, a Facebook app called "This Is Your Digital Life," created by a researcher named Alexander Kogan, was used to gather data from users who agreed to take a personality test. However, the app didn't just gather data from those users. It also collected data on their friends, many of whom didn't consent to it. This allowed Cambridge Analytica to harvest the data of around 87 million Facebook users, all without their knowledge. What made this so troubling was that the data was then used to create detailed psychological profiles that could be used for targeted political ads. Cambridge Analytica had worked with political campaigns, including Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, using the data to influence voters by tailoring highly specific messages to their fears, desires, and behaviors. When the story broke, Facebook was under fire. How could a company that prided itself on connecting people allow this kind of breach? How had Facebook allowed an outside firm to exploit its data to influence a presidential election? The fallout was immediate and global. The hashtag #DeleteFacebook started trending as users began to realize just how much personal information they had unwittingly shared. Zuckerberg was called to testify before Congress, where he faced tough questions about Facebook's role in the scandal. It became clear that Facebook's internal policies were not strong enough to protect user data, and the company had failed to act swiftly when it became aware of the issue. Zuckerberg apologized, but the damage was done. Facebook's reputation had taken a serious hit. The consequences: a blow to trust. The Cambridge Analytica scandal had profound consequences for Facebook. While the company eventually promised to tighten data privacy and improve transparency, it faced intense public backlash. Here's a breakdown of the fallout. Loss of trust. Many users began to distrust Facebook, unsure of how their data was being handled or who had access to it. Trust, once Facebook's biggest asset, had been shattered. Legal and regulatory action. Governments around the world began investigating Facebook. The US Federal Trade Commission, FTC, launched an inquiry into Facebook's data practices, ultimately fining the company $5 billion for privacy violations, the largest fine ever imposed on a company for data privacy violations. Stock prices. Facebook's stock took a dive. Investors became worried about the long-term consequences of the scandal and its impact on the platform's growth. In fact, Facebook's stock lost around $120 billion in value after the news broke, making it one of the most significant financial drops in tech history. Exodus of users. Some users decided to leave Facebook altogether. The #DeleteFacebook movement gained traction as people voiced their frustrations and concerns. While Facebook still retained billions of active users, the trust it once enjoyed had been severely compromised. Zuckerberg's response: navigating the fallout. Mark Zuckerberg, who had been the public face of Facebook's success, now found himself under intense scrutiny. His leadership was questioned as he faced tough questions about the company's role in the scandal and whether Facebook had done enough to protect its users. Zuckerberg, known for his calm and calculated demeanor, admitted mistakes but also tried to portray himself as the only person who could fix Facebook's issues. During his testimony before Congress, he apologized, saying, "We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake." He also promised reforms and changes to Facebook's policies. However, many critics believed that Zuckerberg's apology was a little too late. Some accused him of being more focused on growing the platform and monetizing data than on safeguarding user privacy. Others pointed out that while Zuckerberg's apology was heartfelt, the changes Facebook promised to implement often felt like band-aids on a much deeper issue. The aftermath. Facebook's ongoing struggles. The Cambridge Analytica scandal might have been the most significant, but it wasn't the only controversy Facebook faced. In the years following the scandal, Facebook continued to be embroiled in various issues. These included concerns over the spread of fake news, the platform's role in political polarization, and its handling of hate speech and misinformation. Even though Facebook made efforts to improve security and transparency, introducing new privacy settings and attempting to regulate political ads, it was clear that the company was struggling to regain the trust it had lost. And then there was the shift in Facebook's brand identity. In 2021, Facebook announced its rebranding as Meta, signaling a shift in focus from the social media platform to virtual reality and the Metaverse. While this move was seen as an attempt to distance the company from its troubled past, many questioned whether a new name could fix the deeper issues. The bigger picture, a wake-up call for big tech. The Facebook scandal wasn't just about one company's failure to protect user data. It was a wake-up call for the entire tech industry. Facebook and other companies like Google and Amazon have access to vast amounts of personal data, and the public has grown more aware of how this data is used and exploited. Mark Zuckerberg's empire faced unprecedented scrutiny because Facebook was, and remains, one of the most influential platforms in the world. The scandal forced society to rethink the relationship between personal privacy and technology. Facebook became a symbol of the tech industry's unchecked power and its impact on privacy, democracy, and society at large. Conclusion. Is Facebook's empire in peril? The Facebook scandal marked a turning point for Mark Zuckerberg and his empire. It exposed the vulnerabilities of the world's largest social media platform and put its role in society under a microscope. While Facebook has taken steps to rebuild, it will likely never regain the trust and influence it once had. The scandal also forced companies across the tech industry to reassess their practices and make changes to better protect user data. Zuckerberg's empire may not be completely in peril, but it's clear that the world is watching and that the rules of the game have changed. In the end, The Facebook scandal is a reminder that even the biggest empires can crumble when they fail to respect the very people who helped build them.